Carbon deposits can build on your fuel system's injectors, pistons, combustion chambers, valves, and intake and exhaust ports in as few as 5,000 miles, resulting in lost power and engine performance and lost fuel economy. Using BG44K at regular intervals will keep your engine free of fuel system deposits for life. According to a recent survey, BG44K is preferred 3-to-1 over any other fuel system cleaner by service managers nationwide, and is backed with the lifetime BG protection plan for engine fuel systems at no extra charge.
Carbon residues build up on fuel injectors, leading to a poor fuel spray pattern and inefficient combustion. This condition can rob an engine of power, produce excess exhaust gas smoke, and reduce fuel economy. Carbon residues build up on fuel injectors, leading to a poor fuel spray pattern and inefficient combustion. This condition can rob an engine of power, produce excess exhaust gas smoke, and reduce fuel economy.
Every year, automotive engineers design engines that must do more with less. Power is increased and emissions are lowered. These multi-valve, turbocharged, direct-injected, finely tuned engines achieve greater speed with less fuel from smaller, lighter, more efficient engines. At the same time, these high-tech power plants must meet strict governmental regulations for reduced emissions and increased MPG. Unfortunately, in the manufacturer's attempt to reduce tolerances and increase performance, engines have become increasingly susceptible to deposits. Even very small amounts of fuel residues on intake valves, ports, fuel injectors, and combustion chambers can quickly reduce the performance of close tolerance engines. The main systems of an engine affected by fuel deposits are not only in the fuel system, but also the air induction system. To help control noxious emissions in modern fuel-injected engines, exhaust gases and crankcase vapors are fed back into the air intake system. There, the gummy substances in those vapors form deposits in the air throttle body assembly and plenum. These deposits reduce airflow and damage the ratio between air and fuel, which is essential to efficient combustion. The slightest difference in the air-fuel mixture will cause the vehicle to compensate for the reduced airflow by altering the timing and the amount of fuel flow. In just 10,000 miles of driving, the idle can roughen, fuel economy can be reduced, and exhaust emissions go through the roof. The heavy ends of fuel further compromise the combustion process by leaving deposit buildup on valves, ports, injectors, and piston crowns. To put the amazing precision of fuel injection in perspective, consider the following. In the time necessary for one flap of a hummingbird's wings, about 15 milliseconds, an injector has pulsed 5 times. Even a minor detection of deposits can affect this precise timing. Scan tool diagnostics may indicate low or high readings in the fuel trim, and sensors will indicate air or fuel problems. This creates drivability problems, reduced horsepower, and increased emissions. The engine is most vulnerable to harmful deposits in what is known as the squish area, where the high point of the piston crown matches the cylinder head surface. On some engines, vertical clearances are barely 20,000ths of an inch. The barest of deposits can impair combustion, reducing power and increasing emissions. BG's gasoline direct injection test vehicle showed deposit formation in as few as 10,000 miles of driving in a variety of city and highway conditions. By 30,000 miles, this engine lost 8 horsepower and 20 foot-pounds of torque due to carbon accumulation. Turbochargers, powered by exhaust gases, compress and atomize the air that enters the combustion chamber. The exact air and fuel mixture that is powered by a turbo is even more susceptible to carbon deposits. Diesel engines also experience carbon buildup in combustion chambers, the air plenum, and EGR. These symptoms often occur even sooner in diesel engines due to the higher density of diesel fuel. Drivers complain of hard starting, low MPG, and poor acceleration.
Now, but the results are in, and this new product that he tested, guess what? It worked. Here's his report.
Before we did any kind of testing, our Ford Explorer was giving us 17.9 miles to the gallon. Then we tried those gas pills, which seemed to backfire and gave us just 15.6 miles to the gallon.
BG Products Incorporated has designed specific services to target each of these fuel and air induction system problems. BG Air Intake System Cleaner will eliminate the problems associated with deposit buildup in engine plenum areas and injector ports. It is used with the BG VIA and a specialized air intake system cleaning toolkit, which atomizes BG's superior blend of chemistry for maximum cleaning performance. The results are noticeable. Airflow is restored, fuel economy increases, exhaust emissions decrease, and overall engine performance improves. BG Fuel Injection System Cleaner, used with the BG VIA, will quickly clean the entire fuel injection system. This chemistry is specially formulated to remove baked-on deposits from fuel injectors, thus improving spray patterns needed for proper combustion. Customers will experience increased fuel economy and will appreciate the added power. Finally, BG 44K added to the fuel tank will quickly and effectively clean deposits from the combustion chambers, intake valves, ports, fuel filter, and fuel tank. Unmatched in its cleaning ability in excruciatingly high temperature combustion chamber, BG 44K also does its cleaning during cool down between engine operation. In a recent survey, service managers named BG 44K as the best fuel system cleaner 3-to-1 over any other. This titration test identifies the top fuel cleaners on the market and their ability to remove carbon buildup and fuel varnish deposits from combustion chambers. BG fuel system cleaners are designed to clean accumulated deposits and then to use at each oil service to maintain a clean fuel system. Take a look at these before and after video scope shots. As demonstrated, BG will keep engine components as clean and fully functioning as the day the vehicle left the factory.
Then we tried these products, which, much to our surprise, delivered on their promise to improve mileage per gallon, giving us 19.6 miles per gallon.
BG's cleaning procedures will return today's engines to the high efficiencies and high performance for which they were designed. BG Products Incorporated, through its dedicated distributor network, supports your facility with a family of fuel system cleaning products and equipment as part of a complete line of BG fuel and fluid automotive maintenance services. For more information on the BG Maintenance Awareness Program, contact your BG representative. BG Products. We drive service.
Oxidation of engine oil produces harmful sludge, accelerating component wear and increasing fluid loss. Abrasive materials accumulate, destroying bearings, causing ring sticking and loss of compression.
When it comes to fluid maintenance in today's cars and trucks, there are 2 key steps on the road to returning to like-new condition. This requires a technician with the proper tools and products to restore and maintain fluid system performance. The secret to long engine life not only depends on an oil's ability to lubricate, it must keep the engine free of car-killing deposits. Over time and miles, sludge can form in the crankcase, and fuel gums can form between piston rings. BG has a good, better, and best oil service. Specifically, they are the Basic, the Premier, and the Performance oil services. All 3 are backed by BG's Lifetime Protection Plan. It means all 3 will extend the life of the engine. If an engine has a past or has been recently purchased and its past is unclear, the first thing it needs is a fresh start with the BG Performance Oil Service. The performance oil service includes BG 109 that is poured into the engine and allowed approximately 15 minutes runtime to loosen the fuel gums that collect between the rings. This accumulation of sludge directly affects compression power and allows for more misspent fuel to accumulate in the combustion chamber. Then, unlike just a drain and fill, the BG Performance Oil Changer evacuates the system with pressurized air to rid the engine of all deteriorated oil. This restores engine balance and power, optimizes engine compression, and enhances fuel economy in minutes. The Performance Oil Service is recommended every 24,000 miles and includes the same additive package found in the Premier Oil Service that keeps the oil and fuel system clean and properly maintained. The BG Premier Oil Service is designed to eliminate sludge and wear by protecting the engine from acidic deposits with BG MOA. Service managers choose BG MOA 4-to-1 over any other oil additive on the market. BG MOA may also be added to synthetic oil. To control deposits in the fuel system, BG CF5 is added to the gas tank. The Premier Oil Service, performed at every 7,500-mile oil change interval, qualifies the engine, including fuel injectors and valves, for the lifetime BG protection plan. The BG Basic Oil Service is still above your standard oil change because it includes BG MOA to fight friction, reduce wear, and protect from oxidation and sludge buildup. Performed at 7,500-mile intervals, this service is also included in the lifetime BG protection plan for the engine. To determine the proper BG oil service needed for each vehicle, present the customer's options using the condition, cause, and cure process. The condition of the vehicle can be found in its service, mileage, and repair history for the engine, also through an inspection for accumulation of sludge. The customer's complaints of lost power is helpful in determining the condition of the vehicle. Once it is determined whether sludge or deposits accumulating on the piston rings are causing this loss of power, it's time to discuss the cure. Sludge is a key indicator that the BG Performance Oil Service is needed to restore lost power and evacuate the old deteriorated oil. If it is determined the engine is performing properly and is relatively clean, the Premier Oil Service will do the job. One of the key benefits of this service is lifetime BG protection for the engine's lubrication and fuel systems. If the customer chooses not to have the BG Premier Oil Service, the BG Basic Oil Service still includes BG MOA with lifetime protection for the engine. However, it's important to inform the customer that this service does not include protection for the fuel system. Having the oil service that matches the needs of the vehicle and its owner, backed up with lifetime protection, has been a proven key to long-lasting customer relationships. Helping customers find the right service by supplying the information they need makes it easier for the customer, which will improve customer retention.
The gradual deterioration of brake fluid over time happens by exposure to moisture contamination, heat, and pressure. As the brake fluid additives deplete, the fluid breaks down at an increased rate, resulting in corrosion of brake parts, poor compressibility, and eventual loss of brake function.
Brake calipers, so crucial to the proper operation of the disc brake system in an automobile, operate in a similar way to the calipers on a bicycle. Instead of using cables like the bicycle, brake fluid supplies the force needed to apply pressure to the brakes. Brake fluid is not appreciably compressible. If it were, the brake pedal would be soft or completely ineffective. Brake fluid has a high wet boiling point, which means that after it attracts moisture, it can still withstand the tremendous heat generated during braking. Brake fluid is very hygroscopic, meaning that it attracts moisture from the condensation that occurs when tremendous heat produced by the brakes cools down when not in use. With as little as 4% moisture, the brake fluid's wet boiling point can go below the federal DOT3 standard. When brake fluid boils, bubbles are created, causing air pockets in the system, resulting in a soft brake pedal and potential brake system failure. As moisture increases in brake fluid, its boiling point drops and metal components deteriorate. This often may result in expensive caliper replacement. Some components in the brake system are comprised of copper. Therefore, one indicator that corrosion is occurring is an increase in the amount of copper in the brake fluid. A simple test will indicate the presence of copper in the fluid. If corrosion inhibitors needed for ongoing protection and performance are diminished, and when the fluid is in need of replacement. The proper and efficient replacement of fluid in this very complex and pressurized hydraulic system requires special equipment, training, and a high-performance brake fluid. To do this, we perform a BG brake service. The first step is to take all of the contaminated fluid out of the master cylinder. Then, with the system pressurized, BG.3 or BG.4 ultra-dry flushing formula brake fluid is sent through the master cylinder to each wheel until nothing but new fluid flows out of each individual brake cylinder. This process removes air, moisture, and other contaminants while installing new brake fluid that provides enhanced brake system performance and protection. The BG brake service must be performed within 30,000-mile intervals to qualify for the lifetime BG protection plan for brake systems. This plan covers up to $4,000 in repair costs incurred in the replacement of internal parts due to corrosion, such as the master cylinder, brake lines, and calipers. Customers usually notice more responsive braking and will appreciate the peace of mind they'll have in knowing the most important safety system in their vehicle is properly maintained. Service professionals also have the assurance of knowing that the products, equipment, and training used in performing these services for their customers comes from the leader in automotive fluid maintenance. BG Products Incorporated.
Minerals in tap water combine with the additives found in automotive coolant, creating scale that coats the heat transfer surfaces of the radiator. As the radiator loses heat transfer efficiency, your car runs much hotter and eventually will overheat.
No matter what color it comes in, coolant is a very smart fluid. It knows how to keep the engine from freezing on a bitterly cold morning, while also keeping it from overheating in stop-and-go traffic on a hot summer day. Coolant absorbs heat created by the combustion chambers and takes it to the radiator where the heat dissipates, and then the coolant goes back for more. The additives in coolant also protect engine surfaces from rust, scale, and corrosion. The smart ingredients in coolant usually include ethylene or propylene glycol, special additives known as inhibitors, and distilled water. As bright and clean as coolant is when it's new, from the day it's installed, coolant begins to degrade. And at a certain point, it will expose its dark side. Among other methods to detect coolant failure, a pH test will tell you exactly when a coolant contains a greater amount of acid or alkaline. When coolant becomes acidic, corrosion occurs throughout the cooling system. Corrosion and scale can be observed around the thermostat housing, radiator, water pump, and if you look inside the engine, the cylinder heads. Other signs include calcium deposits around the radiator cap, hoses that deteriorate from the inside out, and scale on cooling fins inside of the radiator. Over time, corrosion inhibitors are gradually depleted. Once used up, corrosion accelerates and scale builds up, affecting metal surface protection and efficient heat transfer. At every maintenance interval, the pH and freeze point must be checked. When coolant fails its pH test, it should be replaced. BG does this with a BG cooling system service. 3 elements that work together in any cleaning process are heat, a cleaner, and agitation. That is why this service begins with a cleaner added to the radiator as the engine runs at operating temperature for 15 minutes. This allows the BG Universal Cooling System Cleaner to remove deposits throughout the system. All of the old fluid is removed and replaced with new coolant and BG Universal Supercool, which inhibits degradation of the coolant and improves overall coolant protection capabilities. It's very important to keep the entire cooling system free of leaks. BG Universal Cooling System Sealer stops head gasket seepage and seals small leaks in the radiator and heater core. All BG sealers and conditioners include anti-foaming agents, which result in better heat transfer, and that keeps the engine running cooler. The BG Cooling System service includes $4,000 of cooling system protection and is included at no additional charge with the lifetime BG Protection Plan for cooling systems.
Rear differential ring and piston gears can suffer scoring, rust, and pitting due to lack of lubrication and corrosion. Progressive gear wear will cause driveline noise and chattering and have a negative effect on seals.
Formations like these require long hours of intensive drilling and careful judgment. When the troop goes around the corner, the riders on the outside of the turn have to adjust their speed to keep even with the riders on the inside. The man on the outside has to ride a lot farther and a lot faster in order to keep up with the parade. If 2 wheels are locked on an axle so that they are not free to turn separately, one or the other has to slide. So engineers had to find a way to connect both rear wheels to the engine without sliding and slipping on turns. It is called the differential because it can drive the rear wheels at different speeds.
Rear-wheel drive vehicles today must have very complex gear systems to manage a vehicle's torque to each wheel in order to improve traction and power. This gearbox has been given multiple names, from the original rear differential or sometimes shortened down to simply the rear axle or the rear end. Other components in the driveline may include a manual transmission, a transfer case, and in 4-wheel drive transmissions, a front differential. Today's driveline components are more sophisticated and they take on greater payloads. Fortunately, today's gear lubricants deliver higher performance for longer life. Gear lubricants break down and lose their ability to adequately protect gears from the extreme pressure environment. Also, gear debris, moisture, and heat promote the formation of sludge deposits. This may result in further gear damage and the need for component replacement. When it's time to remove and replace gear lubricant, the BG Driveline service does the job quickly and efficiently. Most components don't have drain plugs at the bottom of the unit. Old gear lubricant is removed with a suction wand using the BG Driveline Service Center, part number 939. Then add BG LS2. It's designed to prevent chatter in plate and clutch type limited slip differentials. BG-LS2 is also excellent for eliminating chatter in full-time 4-wheel drive transfer cases. The ingredients in BG-LS2 smooth and quiet the operation of gears in the differential and fortify the additives in the gear lubricant. After installing BG-LS2 using the BG Driveline Service Center, the exact amount of BG UltraGuard Full Synthetic Gear Lubricant, part number 750, or BG UltraGuard Heavy Duty Full Synthetic Gear Lubricant, part number 752, is installed in the rear differential and also in the front differential in 4-wheel drive vehicles. BG UltraGuard provides thermal stability, improved seal performance, and protection against wear, pitting, and corrosion. BG Synchro Shift 2, part number 792, is installed in the transfer case. BG Synchro Shift 2 is specially formulated for manual transmissions, front-wheel drive manual transaxles, and transfer cases. It provides low-temperature fluidity, hot rattle suppression, and shear stability. The lifetime BG protection plan includes driveline components and is a key service that should be performed every 30,000 miles. The components in a driveline system work hard, and so do the gear lubricants that protect them. The BG Driveline service will keep cars and trucks running quieter and smoother. And that's the way the wheels turn in the 21st century.
Transmissions are subject to widely adverse temperature conditions during operation. As transmission fluid ages, sludge forms and metal particles accumulate, damaging internal components. This aging can also harden seals, causing leaks to occur.
There are two types of transmissions in today's passenger vehicles. Manual, where you manually change gears by manually engaging and disengaging the clutch system. And automatic. An automatic transmission uses a torque converter filled with hydraulic fluid. When your engine is turning at 3,000 RPM, so is your transmission's torque converter. The torque converter acts as a centrifuge. Any dirt particles or contaminants that accumulate in the fluid are sent to the outer walls of the torque converter through centrifugal force, where they accumulate. Over time, they can break off and travel through the transmission and block the narrow fluid passages. Transmission fluid lubricates all of the moving valves, springs, clutches, and gears inside the transmission. Improper fluid flow can promote higher transmission temperatures, and consistent high heat can kill a transmission. So the way to extend the life of any automatic transmission is to make sure the fluid looks like this always. Cleanliness is the key to long transmission life. So the main objective is to get dirty fluid and deposits out of the transmission. In their 2012 Automotive Aftermarket Status Report, the Automotive Aftermarket Suppliers Association says 7.9 million people had their transmissions overhauled or replaced in 2011 alone. Additives in automatic transmission fluid break down due to heat caused by friction, creating the following issues: dark fluid, a burnt smell to the fluid, deposits accumulating in the torque converter and transmission in the form of gums and contaminants. Here are the conditions and their causes found in transmissions due for service. Dark fluid shows that the fluid is contaminated with deposits. The smell of burnt fluid is caused by extreme heat. Gums and other contaminants in the fluid mean the protective additives in the fluid are depleted. Other conditions that indicate it's time to perform a BG transmission service are miles in excess of 30,000 since the last service, vehicles used for towing, which adds heat and stress, and vehicles used in dusty conditions. There was a time when the only way to remove any fluid from the transmission was to pull the drain plug or drop the pan. Unfortunately, a transmission drain and fill service or a pan drop and filter replacement still left all of the fluid in the torque converter. This is because the fluid moves with pressure that is not present when the drain is opened or the pan is dropped. Adding new fluid to the old is like adding fresh water to dirty bath water expecting to get clean. The three key elements that promote the cleaning process are heat, cleaning chemistry, and agitation before the fluid is exchanged. The key is to introduce these three elements to the greatest extent possible without dismantling the transmission or chemically damaging its components. Today we use the BG Power Flush and Fluid Exchange System. This equipment is designed for today's automatic transmissions, including the latest CVT, continuously variable transmissions. This is an important service because it extends the life of the transmission, which has the second highest replacement cost in a vehicle. We perform this service to remove almost all of the fluid in the transmission, torque converter, and transmission housing by integrating the BG-PF5 machine into the transmission's fluid system. BG Quick Clean for automatic transmissions is added to the transmission and driven at operating temperature to be worked through each gear and loosen deposits before the fluid is exchanged. The BG-PF5 metered output power flush and fluid exchange system injects all new fluid into the transmission, while at the same time the old fluid is being pulled into the machine until the only fluid coming out of the transmission is new. Finally, a conditioner is added. BG ATC Plus improves shifting, reduces shudder, prevents deposit formation, and keeps seals soft and pliable. The first threat to a healthy transmission is dirty fluid. The fluid should look like this, not this. Make sure you get all of the old fluid out of the torque converter, because you don't want to gamble on the cost of a transmission that's running on worn-out fluid. BG Products Incorporated is betting up to $2,000 in repair costs that your customer's transmission never fails. They do this by making sure the fluid and conditioner is changed every 30,000 miles. The BG Transmission Service is backed by the lifetime BG Protection Plan for automatic transmissions.
Power steering units require excellent lubricants to function properly. Fluid breakdown damages internal components and wears grooves into the spool valve housing. Symptoms include whining noises and erratic steering.
The power steering system is under a lot of pressure to perform. Motorists don't realize how much power steering provides until it stops working right in the middle of a parallel park. Then it's easy to understand how some power steering systems use up to 2,000 pounds of pressure to apply tremendous torque at just the touch of a finger. This high-performance hydraulic system requires a high-performance power steering fluid. Power steering fluid not only puts power in the power steering system, it also carries away high heat generated by the pump, while also lubricating and providing crucial hydraulic function to the entire system. Over time, with high heat and tremendous fluid pressure, conditioners and additives in the fluid that protect the system may break. Here's your dad's diesel from back in the day. That old diesel was known to smoke, and it had a couple of other bad habits too. It drank too much fuel, and it was a little loud, even when standing still. That was then, this is now. Today's diesels are much more popular since they've dropped their nastier tendencies from decades ago and boast higher power and performance per cubic inch than today's gasoline engines. What's the difference? Diesel manufacturers have reduced exhaust emissions by re-engineering engines. More stringent pollution standards were enacted beginning in Western Europe, and then by 2006, ultra-low sulfur diesel, or ULSD, was the standard for the US and in many other countries around the world. This drastic reduction in sulfur content ultimately resulted in decreased lubricity, which is important for the protection of vital components such as the injection pump and fuel injectors. During the normal combustion cycle, gummy deposits are left inside the fuel injectors and carbon deposits form in the combustion chamber. As this occurs, the additional power and performance that a diesel provides is diminished, resulting in a fuel and power plant that delivers less than its gasoline counterpart. In order to restore diesel power, we must restore the engine to factory fuel system cleanliness. BG solution is the BG Diesel Injection Service. The BG Diesel Injection Service is designed to remove accumulated deposits from the entire fuel system, including fuel lines and fuel injectors. The BG Inject a Flush for Diesels tool, connected directly to the fuel supply and return lines, delivers the exact amount of BG Diesel Care, part number 229, needed to clean deposit-clogged injectors quickly and efficiently. The BG Injection Service is completed by adding BG 244 to the vehicle's fuel tank to remove accumulated deposits from the entire fuel system. Exhaust smoke is eliminated, and throttle response, power, and fuel economy are remarkably restored to like-new performance. Your dad's diesel is a thing of the past, and carbon buildup can be too. With the BG Diesel Injection Service from BG Products Incorporated.
So what does a used car customer say when asked by friends whether the vehicle she's now driving is a new car? The words she responds with reveal the most important secret in used car sales. Those words are, "It's new to me," and the feeling of new that she uses to describe her purchase is true in every sense of the word, especially the sense of smell. For years, behavioral scientists have understood the connection between our sense of smell, our memory, and our emotions. And any successful salesperson understands the connection between emotions and a sale. Unfortunately, used vehicles also have a memory for odors. Over time, they store them on interior surfaces in obvious and not so obvious places. But no matter where odors are found, they are not always willing to leave. The BG Interior Renewal Service creates that new car feeling for customers while at the same time creating a valuable asset for your business. BG Products Incorporated is a worldwide leader in automotive maintenance services. BG Products are like a fountain of youth for today's passenger vehicles. BG Products. We drive service.